This is a world that is changing very quickly. This was just filled with forests.
There.
Be honest. Do you think if you were not doing this kind of work, what would happen? True natural beauty, unbridled, untouched, one of the last of its kind. But this kind of incredible beauty comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger, and deceit. These are the last lands, the national parks around the world that have to be saved. Something is happening outside of Cambodia's capital city. To document it, we're going beyond the city's growing economy, its expanding factories. Cambodia actually has one of the highest deforestation rates in the world. But ironically, on paper, the country is supposed to be made up of stunning nature reserves. We've hired local fixer and journalist Srey Vuda. He says there's a place where we can see what's really happening here. Where are we going now?
Right now we are going to the Botom Sakor National Park.
Botom Sakor is about 500,000 acres of land, a 6-hour drive from the city. It was declared protected in the early 90s, but for years now, companies based out here have stopped journalists from filming in the park. You can't see them in the back.
I have a tinted window in the back as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. Vuda says guards often stop them.
The first procedure, they will ask us to delete everything, as they normally do like that, if they catch us.
But he thinks he can take us in, discreetly.
Camera down, camera down, camera down.
Vuda says there are companies building out here and that they have private security patrolling the roads. So you think we should not even open the windows to shoot?
No. That's why we have the tinted window. But be ready with the camera. Company security guards with the military uniform right in front of us on the right. You can see a lot of construction and buildings out there. You can see.
You mean that big building up there?
Yes.
What is that then? Is that like a city?
That's a small city, Chinese city.
Huh. It's pretty much all Chinese companies based there?
Yeah.
Finally, we spot some forestry. But as we begin to hike through, we see what has happened to this park. You can hear the silence here. This used to be a national park, but now it's just a quiet, empty place with dead trees. What they do here is they come and they cut down the most valuable ones, haul them off for a lot of money. The ones that don't have that value, they just burn them and leave them behind. In fact, you can see in the distance all this smoke that's rising out of that beautiful forest. Despite being protected, recently revealed documents show that over 80% of the park had been sold over the years to private companies. It's hard to tell where these concessions begin and where they end. Over the border of Batom Sakor, we head only 30 miles north to another national park.
Tell me the name of this river and where we're going.
We are now on the Stungprot River, right next to the Cardamom Mountains.
Here, unlike the land surrounding it, the trees in the Cardamoms National Park are standing tall.
Cambodia's lost 30% of its forest in the last 20 years. So this is really the last hope for an intact forest. And what's great about it is it's not a long, narrow strip. It's a large piece of forest. If you protect the borders of it, it's very hard to destroy. It's defensible.
It is the largest surviving rainforest in all of Southeast Asia. It's even believed to be the last unbroken elephant corridor in all of Asia.
National parks like Cardamon's National Park, it's the only hope. If you look at the burning going on in Cambodia, the 30% loss of forest, it's not just the amount, 30%, but it's this fragmentation of the ecosystem. There's no intact forest that's holding together. So as soon as you fragment it, everything dries out, everything breaks down, and there's no habitat for anything to survive. So then it breaks down even further.
For years, Cambodians and outside activists have fought to keep the Cardamoms intact.
We ordained this tree because it's the endangered species timber.
But in recent years, the government itself has finally joined them.
What changed? Why is the government now backing it?
Because there's so much land grabbing and there's so much danger for the forest to disappear forever. And a lot of the people grabbing the land are high level, even military, that the Prime Minister has decided to counterattack.
And that counterattack looks like this. A small army of park rangers, many are armed. Organized and operated by the Wildlife Alliance. They work with dozens of Cambodian rangers and employ retired foreign soldiers from around the world, including some former special forces. Eddie Lefter was once a member of the French Foreign Legion. Out here, he is in charge.
This, it's changed the direction.
They are here to survey and combat illegal logging and poaching in the Cardamoms.
So here is the illegal logging, or here is illegal logging. So we knew how to go, yeah? And do you remember, who remembers this map? 150,000, what does the score represent?
These rangers live in stations like this, scattered throughout the park.
You seized all of this
So as you see, it's huge
lumber,
amount, yes,
vehicles.
huge amount of the timber, vehicles, bulldozers, excavators. This station I have a total of 16 rangers. So yeah, and another patrol unit, which is just right now, they're coming from the long patrol, 4 days patrol.
Wow.
John, go under the station, So they're coming from, yeah, see, they have snares from 4 days long patrol.
So they don't have chainsaw. Oh, there's one chainsaw right there. So now they're going to unpack right here?
Yes, they're gonna unpack.
They return with 8 confiscated chainsaws, several snares used for poaching, even some homemade guns.
Explain. You were out there with them, right?
Yeah, right.
So you come weaponed every time where you go. You bring.
Yeah, we have military police join us all the time because most of the offender, they form military, they form army, so therefore we have to have them as our security.
So you busted him, illegally hauling the.
Yeah, as you see,
timber.
Quite big.
They cut at night, or
They cutting daytime, but nighttime is transporting because, of course, he he feels more secure to coming back with his shipment.
The Cardamoms National Park spans over 2 million acres of land. To cover it, the rangers use motorbikes and record their patrols. They eventually hike into the forest to track illegal logging. Fallen timber could be a sign that they're getting close.
Yeah, you hear it, yeah. You hear the noise of the chainsaw.
This time, the culprits don't hear the rangers coming.
Oh, they're running.
Yeah, they're running.
They're caught, their equipment confiscated, and given a hefty fine.
I know that we've been told by some of them this is the only job they can get.
Exactly. Usually they're working for a trader, yeah? And he's telling, okay, you bring this me timber, I paying this amount of money.
This one is first-class timber, and this one is
A rare species.
rare.
It's protected.
Oh, this is very rare.
Yes, very rare.
Are these the ones that cost their $1,000?
And Phnom Penh should be over $1,000 per cubic meter. The whole program, it's about 200, includes me. We are 210 rangers.
210 rangers, is that enough?
No, it's not enough. Definitely it's not
How
enough.
many do you need?
I think maybe even another 200.
We're gonna head about 2 hours down the road now to another patrol area.
Here is one of the main evidence store, which from all different stations.
Wow. How many are there?
This is over 7,000 chainsaws confiscated. 7,000. Yeah.
So how many years of collection?
10 years of hard work. All these chainsaws, you can imagine how much forest destruction.
But there are places they cannot protect, projects they cannot control. Hydropower plants. This is the road heading down to the dam that was actually built by the Chinese. We're kind of trying to get the clearance right now to go through. This is the dam that is sitting in the middle of this beautiful park. It's the exception to saving the park. They need it for the water, they need it for the energy, and the government says you got to put it in.
We just talked with the 3 military officers. Supervisor came out and said that we are not allowed to get into the hydropower dam.
So to see it, we went by helicopter.
Well, that's huge. That's much bigger than I thought it was going
Yes,
to be.
it's huge, it's huge.
The government says you can build this dam. It's a Chinese company
Yeah,
that's
Chinese
building
company,
it.
yes.
So they have the ability within the national park to build a dam. You think the government's going to continue to approve more and more of these dams?
The project is to develop the country.
Cambodia, with its growing population, is in dire need of more electricity. And their goal is to use less fossil fuel, but more alternative energy through hydropower dams to become carbon neutral by 2050. But across the country, several villages have flooded because of the construction of dams like these. Yet in 2016, after the government set out to put a dam here in the Cardamoms Arung Valley, the indigenous villagers fought back. Remarkably, they won. One of the instrumental protesters was Rim Sao Si, a member of the indigenous Chong community. What was it going to look like if that dam went in right here? This would have been completely flooded? How were you able to stop the government from doing this? The dam project was called off, but Wildlife Alliance remained in the villages, supplying new equipment, water wells and toilets, building schools, health centers, roads, and bridges. While many of the villagers we met were happy with their outside help, others were not. There's a fight brewing over who owns the land itself. Some indigenous people have been arrested for accessing what they claim to be their traditional land. The government insists that the property lines are clear.
If you commit a crime, you go to jail, regardless who you are. If they dare to commit crime, I dare to arrest you.
And this is where conservation gets complicated. In many national parks around the world, specifically those in underdeveloped countries, there are occasional conflicts between environmental advocates trying to protect the parks and locals who feel their lives are being unfairly overrun by outsiders.
People residing in many of these villages still don't have land titles for their land, even though they were there before the national park was created.
These conflicts have raised international attention, specifically from the Human Rights Watch, a watchdog group. Luciana Tejas-Chavez spent almost a year with the indigenous in the Cardamoms.
There were allegations about people in the communities that were impacted by the project who said that rangers were harassing them because they were collecting forest products or forcibly evicting families from farmland they cultivated for many years. The government and some conservation groups who want to do environmental law enforcement in the national parks, sometimes disregarding the legitimate land claims of communities who were there first.
So these have collided.
That's right.
We meet Van Bo, an indigenous Chong farmer who shows us where he and his family used to grow rice for generations. He claims he was banned from farming on this land, saying rangers took the last crops he grew here. Markers recently placed by authorities. Many locals claim they are inaccurate. There was some anger amongst some of the people, especially indigenous people, that they felt like something was taken from them.
We do not have a land boundary for every part of the country yet, so that's still confusion.
Back in the helicopter, Eddie and the Rangers are able to keep track of the jurisdictions through their phones and tablets. He shows us what they're trying to prevent.
There.
This is called slash and burn agriculture, using fire to turn parts of the forest into farmland.
That was illegal burning?
Yes. So they're already outside of the community boundary. There are some villagers, they want to grab more land, which is state land, which is inside of national park.
The destruction of these forests may not only impact Cambodia, but all of us around the world. Fewer trees lead to less absorption of CO2, which would cause higher temperatures. All of it can be felt in our own backyards. What about the outside world that want to do something for Cambodia? If people want to donate and support what's happening in this country, some have concerns that the money may end up in the hands of, government officials or...
Try me.
Try you?
Yeah, try the environment, Ministry of Environment. I don't say that we are perfect. I don't say that Cambodia is perfect, but Cambodia is doing it, moving toward clean Cambodia.
While forests inside the Cardamoms are being fought for, Cambodia's Deputy Prime Minister admits that large deforestation, at least outside of the Cardamoms, will continue. Given the fact the history here, is it hard to slow it down, the kind of development that would be threatening the forests for the national parks?
We cannot afford to slow down the economic development of our country. Cambodia has been starving for 30 years. So I need all kinds of resources to rebuild Cambodia from scratch.
What he is talking about is the Khmer Rouge genocide that began in 1975. That year, the Communist Party, led by Pol Pot, suddenly ordered millions of citizens to march out of the cities into the countryside. Through execution, torture, or starvation, up to 2 million people were killed.
Counterattacks against the aggressors were launched by our people.
The regime ended in 1979, and since then it's been a difficult road to attract foreign investments. The economy is just starting to bounce back. Back at Batom Sakor, we see the impact of the economic concession.
Let's go to find a place before they spot us. Before drone, yeah.
Massive complexes, empty urban developments, all standing where a forest used to be.
The land has already been allocated. There's a concession for so many hectares on that land to that company called Union Group. And they have the right to attract investment to put in that area also.
Most of it is Chinese investment.
That's correct. We see more of investment from China than any other country.
Do you think they have a lot of respect for nature?
If you're so concerned about the environment or about the Chinese invest in Drasako, let's bring the Hilton. Let's bring all the good company.
So in other words, don't complain.
Don't complain. If you said American company, we like to run that airport, please bring them to Cambodia. I introduce them to Drasako and they can manage that airport.
Areas of Batom Sakor were not just home to rainforest and endangered animals. A few miles inland, many locals have been relocated. This family once lived on the coast, a fishing town inside this park. Now, it's home to a vacant airport.
We don't see any health clinic around here, no school, no market, no water, no infrastructure to live, to survive.
And as we leave Batom Sakor, we encounter yet another wildfire. This was probably intentional by a company?
Because this forest has been given a concession, the company might hire company workers to burn it intentionally. It could be the climate change that brings this forest fire.
With more investments and developments inching closer and closer to the still protected lands, like the Cardamoms National Park, can the government really stop it? Do you think that will be protected forever?
It's the national park that's been designated through the royal decree of His Majesty the King. So I assume and I hope and expect that the park will continue to be there.
Be honest. Do you think if you were not doing this kind of work, what would happen?
Almost this year will be 19 years I'm working. If this ranger's not gonna do this work, not gonna protect this forest will definitely be gone.
Your country went through a lot of war. This is the war now.
This war is killing the environment and the forests of Cambodia.
This is the sound of the national park.